Welcome back, explorers of Arrakis. It is a new week, which means there is a new deep desert. That's right, we have the reset and we have the major POIs for this week on the map already set up for us, and man, what a map it's gonna be. That's right, because this is going to be the first time that I can remember since this game has been released that we actually are going to see so much spice. That's right, everybody, we are drowning in spice because there's not just one, not just two, not just three like usual, but 6 large spice plumes. Oh my god, the world is on fire. Let me tell you guys, there is gonna be so much spice out there, and nobody should be complaining about the harvesting and not getting an opportunity. And now hopefully some of these spice plumes will be popping at the same time. That way, if there is PvP out there, it is going to limit the amount of opportunities for those PvPers to find us, because they'll have to go all the way across the map to see if anybody's at any of these plumes. But there's one thing I can definitely say, there is heaps of spice. Now, keeping this in mind, we also need to take a look at that E area. As you can see, we do have half the E area still as a PvE zone, and I flew out there earlier and noticed that the vast majority of the squares are actually holding islands for you to build in, and there is one specific island that I saw which is extremely yummy. That's right, it would be the E4 island. If you have a chance to get into your ornithopter today and get out there with some kind of building materials, the E4 block has island with not only tritanium, but also stravinium. That's right, both of them are found in the exact same place. Now, don't let me limit this down, because it looks like Funcom has been listening to everybody complain about the lack of those in-game materials in the safe zone, meaning people don't want to go in there and be shot at by people during PvP. So it looks like they have, it's about half of these squares you go into will have islands on this side of the safe zone, and then the others will be like up in this area. I can't remember exactly what it is, but one thing I can tell you for sure is all of these islands have a few nodes of stravinium and titanium. However, this one here on E4 has it both. So don't be hesitating to jump out there and scrap up all those great mats early on. Now, in terms of what I can say is hot or cold, I can't say hot or cold this week. The reason is they have thrown so much on this map that everything on this week's map is more or less just a hot, because there's still stuff that is not being popped into this map just yet. Like, there are some stravinium and titanium nodes that are out here in the I areas and H areas. So it's just everywhere. There's nowhere, you can't escape it. Everywhere you fly this week, you are going to see spice, you're going to see titanium, you're going to see stravinium. If you got bored and left the game, too bad for you, because this is the week that you can definitely jump in here and make sure to get caught up on all those in-game mats to build, get your stuff put together, and quite possibly make a nice little stockpile of garbage materials for you to see yourself deep into the future. Now, of course, there are, as always, 2 labs that you can find here, one in F5, and then there's another one here in I1. And of course, here is the borderline one here on E. There's always going to be one on E, it seems like, every week. And this will possibly and more than likely be on the safe zone, as they usually leave it out there as kind of like the intermediary lab that you can go jump into and see how the deep desert is working, get close to the danger zone without actually being in the danger zone. So make sure you jump out there and do that. Of course, as always, unless you have everything maxed out like I do not need any more intel points. But hey, remember, there are 8 labs here in the A area, and each one of those are going to give you a chunk of intel. At the end of the day, you will walk away with 180 plus intel. So if you have not made it into the deep deep desert yet, and you are still like contemplating, how do I get more intel points so that I can get that next thing unlocked? Just go to the deep desert, go to A, run into these labs. It is safe. Nobody can kill you. You'll get loot, you will get intel points, and you'll get some like basic early in-game materials that you can bring back to the Haga Basin to, go back and do whatever it is you're doing in the Haga Basin. So keeping this in mind, this is a momentous map that we are seeing. Not only that, but we are seeing a lot of Lansrad stuff that is on the safe area. Remember, if you get in, that's not a Lansrad thing. Whoa, that was a bad one right there. Let's get that one out of there. Just remember, if you are landing on these Lansrad checkpoints or capture areas, they are PvP, so you will be having to fight people. So be careful with that if you're trying to get your Lansrad connected that way. We also have these out here, and there are more. They just have not popped up on the map, and the Lansrad stuff is not really something that I'm too interested in. I like to focus on the sand spice as well as the in-game mats, stravinium and titanium. And as you can see, there is blankness over here, but let me tell you, I have been out there and flown, and there is titanium and stravinium everywhere out this week. Everything above E, you just start finding heaps of it. Even there's a node somewhere out here in like E4, E5 or something like that, or E5, I think it was, that was just like pure iron. Absolutely blew my mind. Why would they throw iron out there? But regardless, make sure that you're getting out there. Make sure you're doing your labs. Make sure that this is the week you go hunting for spice, because this may not last. Next week, they might just go back to 3 or even less. We don't know, but hopefully they will continue to throw so much spice on the map that everybody gets spice. As always, thank you all for watching. This has been another great week, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week whenever we take a look at the changes in the deep desert. Thank you very much, and have a great day.